Hi, Chef Raphael here. On this episode of Cooking with Chef Raphael, brought to you by Copia Maisha Rahisi, I'm making a commanded dish, a lentil and sweet potato curry. Now this recipe, I actually got it from a fan on Facebook. She submitted her recipe and she got a hamper from Copia, and this recipe is actually dedicated to her. She submitted it and I said I'll recreate it. So a big shout out to Shiku on Facebook. And on this recipe, you learn how to make this simple dish. It's a one-pot dish. We have the sweet potato on gouache. We have the kamande, which is the lentil. Really simple. Different vegetables I've added here. In fact, my mouth is watering because of the, I've already made it. Now I want to actually have a taste. In fact, let me taste right now. I'll just give you the feedback right now. There's the curry powder. There's the kamande, that's the texture of the kamande. There's the coconut, and then most importantly the sweet potato. Makes it perfect. Has the sweetness. Watch till the end and you see how simple it is to make it, and I hope you learned something new. Let's get cooking. So welcome to the show. Now if you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing. My channel is all about making you a better home cook. Today's recipe again brought to you by Copia Maisha Rahisi. And by the way, at copia.co.ke you can get most of the ingredients that I've used that are not the perishables. Like in this case, you're using Copia Kamande. In the recipe I also have tomato paste, whether it's the cooking oil, whether it's the spices, whether it's the salt. You can get them all at copia.co.ke. Just do your shopping from there. Kushop bila kusafiri, bei poa bidhaa bora. So now into the recipe. Now this recipe is actually, like I said earlier, is from a fan who actually submitted the recipe in a competition that I was doing on Facebook. She got a hamper, but I said I'll give out a shout out to her. Now the recipe is really simple, and actually it's a one-pot dish. Now we have the sweet potatoes, and by the way, for the sweet potatoes, in this case we're actually peeling them. Usually when we're cooking sweet potatoes, we cook them together with the skin on. This case will not happen. We'll actually want to peel them before. Now when you're peeling sweet potatoes, they tend to oxidize or basically turn the color. When you're peeling them, just peel them using a peeler. That's the best one. Or if you're going to use a knife, just be careful how much you're peeling off. And then put them in cold water that has some salt. Cold, salty water. That's the most important thing. Now, after peeling, I'll just cut them into sizable chunks and then put them in the water, and they will not turn color. That's the most important thing you need to note when you're preparing the sweet potatoes. Now, when that is done, I have the rest of my ingredients ready. I have the bell peppers, I have the zucchini, the onions, the tomato, and even the carrots. For all those ingredients, I've cut them into small, same sized cubes. So you have to choose which size you want. I would say the same size you cut the sweet potatoes. So that's it. So when it comes to the Copia Kamande, when you're cooking it, it's simple. But the most important thing you need to note is soak it in cold water before you cook it. It reduces the cooking time, and most importantly, it also reduces the gas effect that you may get when you eat any bean, which includes the kamande. So when you soak it, boil it, takes about, mine takes about 15 minutes when it's boiling. So keep an eye on it, doesn't take long to cook. So for the recipe, the first thing we want to do is to fry the onions. So a little bit of oil, fry the onion, and then let the onion start browning. It will take about 3 minutes for it to evenly start browning on medium heat. Keep an eye on it if you need to. Just keep stirring it. But in about 3 minutes, 3 to 4 minutes, start browning. And then I added the curry powder or masala, whatever masala you may have to make it into a curry. It can be beef masala or chicken masala, whatever curry powder you may have or a mixture of, that's what you use. So add it to the onion and stir. And then I also added the carrots. Now the carrots, because they actually take a long time to cook, you're going to add them, stir them into that mixture of onion and the curry powder. And then after that, I add the tomatoes. So when you add the chopped tomatoes, what it will do, it will start softening. And then what I also did, I added tomato paste, because the tomato paste adds an extra tomato color and flavor. And especially when tomatoes are expensive, you can substitute, you can use both, a little bit of the fresh tomato, a little bit of the tomato paste to boost that tomato flavor and color especially. And then add the sweet potatoes that has already been cut and it's in the water. You'll notice they will stay the same color, whether it's the yellow ones or the white ones. They will keep that color when they're still in that water. Stir and cover and let them start cooking slowly. Now you can add a little bit of cold water, because that will actually help the steaming effect of for them to steam as they are cooking. If you don't add water, they will tend to stick on your pot. So cover it for about 4 minutes. Keep an eye on it. Sometimes you need to stir it. So you want the tomatoes also to cook completely, and then keep stirring it. And then after about 8 minutes, when the sweet potatoes are starting to get soft, you can keep an eye on them, add some salt, and then depending on the size of your sweet potatoes and depending on the variety of the sweet potato, the timing is up to you. So once they are already a little bit soft, and remember to keep adding the water, you can use a small knife to pierce into one. Once they are a little bit soft, that's when you add the other vegetables. In my case, I have the zucchini and the bell peppers. Because they are softer vegetables, they take a shorter time to cook. That's why you add them a little bit later. Stir it and then let it continue cooking for a few more minutes until you feel the sweet potatoes are 90% done. You do not want them to be fully cooked, so keep an eye on them. And remember, if you need to add more water, always keep adding a little bit of water as you're stirring them. After that, all that is left is to add the copia kamande that has already been cooked. Simple as that. Pour it into the mixture. Now the amount of kamande should be slightly more, not too little, not too much. The dish should basically look balanced when you're adding the cooked kamande. Stir it. If you're happy with the combination in terms of the colors, in terms of the quantities, add a little bit of water, and finally add the coconut cream or coconut milk. Now coconut cream or milk is actually optional. Even if you don't have it, you can still cook without it. It will still be tasty without it. Basically, when you cover it after stirring the coconut cream, let it simmer for about 5 minutes or until the sweet potatoes are fully cooked, and all that is left is to add the chopped coriander and turn off the heat. The dish is ready. So total cooking time, again, it's about 20 minutes depending on the sweet potato that you actually have. So the time will be determined by that. Now all that is left is to serve, and I'll show you how it looks when it's served and how to serve it. So it's as simple as that. Food is ready. Serve it in a bowl. It's actually, you don't need any other accompaniment to this. We have the starch, we have the protein, it's actually a vegan dish, vegetarian or vegan dish. Perfect, but anyone and everyone can enjoy this dish, and that's what I love about it. It's really tasty. The coconut is there. Now, if you don't like spices, you don't like the curry, you can skip the curry. You can still get the flavor from the coconut if you're using coconut cream or milk. If you do not have coconut cream and you have the curry, you can still have the curry taste. If you do not have curry powder, you can actually even use something like cumin powder. Cumin will have a nice flavor. And if you don't like spices at all, you can still get the flavor from the camande and the sweet potato, especially the sweetness of the sweet potato. Basically, like I said, it's a dish for everyone, and I hope you've learned something new. Let me know in the comment section. Once again, shout out to Shiku who shared this recipe, and now I've recreated it, and I hope you'll enjoy it when you have yours. Until next time, I'm signing out. I'm Chef Raphael.